heard of the hit 2007 film starring Jerry Seinfeld titled The Bee Movie? Well, anyway, here it goes. According to all known laws of aviation, there's no way bees should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The bee, of course, flies anyway, because bees don't care what humans think is impossible. And then the music, and then the opening credits, and then opens Jerry Seinfeld going through his closet, going yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, black and yellow. Switch it up a little. Then it cuts to him sharpening his little pointer thing in a stinger sharpener, and then he goes down the rails of his stairs and shows his parents like, "Hey, Barry, I didn't want you. Told you not to do that again." He's like, "Sorry, Mom. Big day. I gotta get a job and stuff and graduate college." And he's like, "Yeah, have a good day. Love you." He's like, "Love you too," and it leaves. And then he's walking around with his friggin' loser nerdy friend going to college. He's like, "Yo, we graduated college. I can't believe we did this." And he's like, "Yeah, this school," and it's like a joke about since bees live very short lives. It's like, yeah, I did one day at the elementary school and the middle school, and I took a couple days off in the middle and just went around places. And then it shows him going I just found around. Going around in a loop-de-loop thing in the road, because bees are freaking epic, and they put a freaking loop-de-loop in the freaking road to work, and they're like, it's freaking sick. And then they get there, and then the principal's like, "Yo, sup? Graduated." And then they do another joke about how the lives are short, and then they put the time that it is as the year that they're graduating. It's very funny. And then they hop on this cool bus thing that's kind of like a parody of rides at Disneyland or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, but then you got this job over here, and you got that one over there, and it's all really cool and stuff." And then the stupid nerd friend's like, "Yo, she's hot." Ha ha. And then Barry B. Benson's like, "Dude, she's your freaking cousin. It's kind of hot, bro." And then nerd friend's like, what do you mean?" And then Barry's like, "Oh, we're all cousins, eh?" And then it continues. They don't continue doing that, but they move on from that little joke thing. And then Barry's and then they get to the spot where it's they gotta get their jobs, and they're like, Barry's like, "What the hell is this?" And he's like, and the guy who's giving him the job's like, "Yeah, it's where you go to get your jobs and stuff." And then Barry's like, "This is stupid. I don't want to do that." And then he's like, "Oh, yeah." Then the guy's like, "How do I know with the pick?" And then the guy's like, when it shows it's open, it means that one of them's dead." So it's like, "This one's open, they're dead. That one's dead. That one's dead down. That one's dead up. And then this one is a circle right now." And then Jerry's like, "Oh, please, brim." And then the nerd friend is like, "I want to take that one." And he's like, oh, you're gonna get it? And then he's like, "No, it's got it. Someone else got it." And then he's like, "Oh," and then he's like, ooh, I want to get that one." And then he's like, "Oh, you're gonna get it? Oh, yeah, you got it. Oh, so," and then they shake hands, and then they get the job, and Barry's like, "Stop it. I don't want to do this." And then they walk away, and then he's all upset. It's bee life ain't for everybody, know what I'm saying? So then they go over to the pollen jocks, which are the big cool guys that do all the stuff, and they get the pollen to make the honey, which is the cool thing that all the other bees are doing. That's their job. That's the whole joke of that. That's that whole bit. And then and then they go over and they're like, "Yo, you're cool. I want to be one of you." And I'm like, "No, you don't have the proper training because you're a friggin' loser. It would amount to nothing. Just make sure I'm home alone. May or may not be home alone right now. So this is, I'm taking a lot of risks doing this right now. I'm just letting you know. So then, Barry was like, and the Bomber Jocks are like, we're gonna mess with this guy. And then they tell him, yeah, and then they tell Barry, who's like the coolest freaking guy in the world. They tell him to go like, yeah, you can do it too, and then even though he can't, and then they go while they're waiting to do it, then they go up to the ladies and they're all like, excited, and then they're like doing the thing where they're like faking that they got like the cool job thing. They're like, oh yeah, I go out there all the time, and I'm like super cool like that. And then oh my god, I don't know what that was. And then they gotta go out, and then like Barry goes out there and he's like getting ready, and then they go out, and then they go like pollinate the stuff, and the dudes are like, yo, check this out, I got the thing over here. Let me make sure my mic is then like, oh, you gotta put the thing on there, and you gotta do the whole thing on there. It's like really cool and stuff. And then they go over to like a tennis court. Then it shows the main characters, Kronk, and then the love interest. And they're like, yo, what's up? And then they find the tennis balls and like, yo, what's this? Because they're bees and they don't know what a freaking tennis ball is. Those freaking losers. And then they go up to him and touch him. They're like, yo, what the frick? Because they got their fingers, they got their hands stuck in like the loop part of this tennis ball. I don't know. I've only touched a tennis ball like 5 or 6 times before now. And then the Barry goes up to him like, oh, what is this? And then he goes up to him and he goes, ah, and he can't get up. And then the love interest girl comes over, and she's like playing tennis with it, because that's what you do with tennis balls. And she serves it, and then Kronk goes over and hits it again, and then they do like a tennis thing, and then friggin' Kronk, the loser, hits it out of the court, and then it like goes into the friggin' ground. And then it, like Barry flies off and goes into a car, and it's like all cool, and you can see the inside of the car. That's seeing that whole scene is like the whole reason that I know the very little I do about cars. All I know about cars I learned from that single scene. But then anyway, he comes out of the air conditioner, and then there's a family, and they're like, yo, there's a friggin' bee in here. What's going on? This sucks. I like bees in my car. It's like, ah! Yeah, the good song's playing right now, by the way. And then the grandma's like, I'm gonna get this bee. This freaking loser bee, and then they go up to the front, and then mom and dad's like, this freaking bee hates you. And they open like the sunroof and like have him go out or something like that. I don't know. I kind of forgot the whole thing and blocked it out. Well, anyway, he comes out and it's like raining, and he like before he left, I forgot to add this. The polygraph said that you can't fly in rain because that's like a thing that you can't do for some reason. Anyway, I've done it in a plane before, so I don't know why these loser bees can't do it. But anyway, he flies over to the love interest house, and they tries to go into the window, but he can't because it's glass, and bees don't know what glass is. And he and then he tries to slip underneath it because it's like sort of open. And then he gets in, and then he finds like a snow globe, and he's like, oh, what is this? Because a bee doesn't know what a snow globe is, because they don't have snow globes. And then anyway, they come in, and then they find Kronk, and then the love interest, and then he's got like a brochure of his like talents and stuff. He's showing it off to like this cool guy trying to give himself a job, and like, yo, this is cool stuff, I can cook. And then Kronk sees the bee and he's like, yo, a bee. And then he goes gets a friggin' Bergenstock or he gets his Timbs. He tries to kill Barry B. Benson, the coolest friggin' person in the world, with his Timbs. And I'm gonna come and get you. But he doesn't come and get him because if the main character dies, that's a boring movie. And then anyway, like the love interest, I forgot her name as well. She's like, no, you can't kill the bee because it's like the nature and stuff. And that's like against the rules of the world. Oh, okay. And then she like saves him and is like, yo, Barry B. Benson, you're a cool guy. And then anyway, he's like, oh. And it's like next day, and he goes up to like the can of tuna with like the Bumblebee logo thing. He's like, and then he's like trying to think about how to like thank her because he like saved his life, and he's like practicing things, and he's like, you like jazz? And then she's like, and then, but he doesn't actually say that to her. He's like kind of preparing. But then when he says something, I don't know exactly what he says. He's like, yo, what's up? And she's like, oh my god, B. This is like a dream, isn't it? Because I saved you. And dreams are based off of what you did that day or whatever. And she like tries to stab herself with a fork because that's like a thing that normal people do, I guess, to make sure that they're not dreaming. And Barry B. Benson's like, what the hell are you doing? That's lame. And she's like, I don't know. I thought I was in a dream because you're like a bee that talks, and like most of the time, bees don't talk. That's not like a normal thing that they do. But anyway, then he like thanks her, and she's like, yo, yeah, well, you're welcome. And she's like, you want to get some dinner sometime? And he's like, yeah. Then they go off to like the roof of the building because they can do that since they live in New York. I forgot to set up where the scene took place. I forgot to talk about the setting. Friggin' loser me. And then they go up and they eat like some cinnamon roll, and like he makes like a bee joke, and she doesn't get it because she's not a bee. That's the whole joke of the joke. And then anyway, she's like, yo, this crumb, it's pretty freaking cool. Can I keep it? And she's like, yeah, sure. And then there's like this guy who's fixing a light bulb. She sees a love interest like talking to Barry, and she's like, yeah. And I mean, he's like the guy with the light bulb. Like, what's she doing? It's weird. And then he like falls for some reason because that's funny. And well, anyway, like Barry B. Benson leaves, and then he goes back to like the hive and with like his crumb thing because that's what he got. And anyway, he comes back and he's talking to his friggin' nerd friend that like he talked to a girl, and he's like, yo, that's friggin' cool and all, but talking to a human, not supposed to do that because you're a bee. Bees don't talk to humans. That's not a normal thing to do. He's like, well, it was cool. Yeah. And he goes home and he lies to his parents because that's what people do, I guess. And then he tells them, like, yeah, the job was great, and I'm going to be just like you for the rest of my life. He's like, super sad. I'm just going to warn you now. The rest of this is going to get very blurry. Anyway, after that, I think he gets up and does the same thing again, and then apologizes, like, yo, you survived that? Because, like, I thought you, like, died or something. He's like, yeah, I did that. Sorry, my parents went off to Smith's, and I'm trying to make sure that they don't get here before I'm done with this, because that would be very embarrassing for them to come in that door and be like, what are you doing? And I'd have to tell them that I'm trying to reenact the B movie for one of my friends. And then they go downstairs with food and be like, oh dang, I have to go down there. I have to make this 2 parts. I have to do the rest of this. And anyway, I think he's in like a pool, and then he has like this weird like wet dream about him and the love interest like doing stuff, and like flying a plane and then dying. And then he wakes up and he's in like a honey pool, like dying. And he gets out and it's like, oh. So then he like leaves the place, whatever, and then he like goes see the girl again, the love interest, and she's like, "What's up?" And yeah, and then sometime later they go to like the store, or whatever, and I'm so sorry. We go to the store, and then Barry B. Benson finds out that they got like honey in bottles, and he's like, what's up with this? And she's like, no, it got honey, because, like, you guys give it to us or whatever. And he's like, no, we don't. She's like, we don't. And he's like, no, we don't do that. That's involuntary, and we don't like it that much. And then a guy who works at the store, I guess, comes over, like, with a newspaper, and he's like, yo, B, and I'm going to try to kill it. And then the love interest is like, no, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. I'm not going to let you do that. No, debate, I'm gonna kill it. It's a debate, it's not supposed to be in a store. Bear's like, oh no, don't hurt me. And then they do like a sword fight thing with like a stinger, cause there you go. Well, anyway, sword fight. He gets on a bus and he talks to Chris Rock about honey, and he's like a mosquito, and then he sees like a hospital thing, going to a hospital with like blood in it, and he sees his other mosquito friends. It's like, yo, what's up? I'm a mosquito, and I want to get some blood because I like that a lot. And then he gets to the honey place and talks to the honey people, and the honey hive, and it's like, what's up? What's going on? Like, we're making honey, but we don't like that much because we're in captivity and stuff. And then like Barry's like, oh, that sucks. And like, yeah, your queen is a drag queen, which is for some reason funny, I guess. And then like he leaves, and then he decides to sue people because they're like taking their honey or whatever. Even though that I feel like I'm not gonna get into the technicalities of the B movie. And then they sue, and he sues him, and then it goes on B. Larry King, who's just Larry King but a B. That's funny. And then he like sues him, and there's like a guy, and then like the nerd friend stabs him in the butt, and he gets really mad about it because people don't like doing having that happen to them. And then he's like, oh my butt, oh my god, because butt is funny. And then they like bring out a bear, and the guy from Goodfellas, and Sting from the popular band The Police. And then they successfully sue the human race because the nerd friend like almost died because bees die when they stab people. They got food. But anyway, he sues the human race good, and they win. But then like stuff starts dying, so they go to a parade because the girl's the florist, and she's like, yeah, we can save the human race. And then like Barry B. Benson flies like a plane, and earlier Kronk's like, I'm gonna get you because you're stealing my girlfriend, and Kronk. And then he like tries to kill him and flips him down boiling like poo water. And then well anyway later he successfully fixes the human race, and then everything is happy ending because this is a DreamWorks movie, not a Disney movie, but they have to copy everything that Disney does to get money in the animated film market. Here's a New York snow globe I have. I've never been to New York. It's from Amazon. Bye-bye.